name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. All praises belong to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His Prophet Muhammad, the members of his household, his great companions, and all those who follow his right path until the day of judgment. Viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are welcome to the new edition of this program, Islam is a Way of Life, which comes to you from Kullum television. As usual, my name is Mal.Aminu Aliyu Gusau Dan. If you can remember, in the last edition, we were discussing about the ancient methods by which man tried to answer the fundamental questions of life, which are, who am I? What is the goal of my life in this world? And where am I going after death? We discussed about the religious process by which man tried to answer this question. And in that discussion, we concentrated on polytheism. The reason for that is that most historians, because of the nature they look at the religion, concentrate on the polytheist aspect of history. In Islam, polytheism is not the first stage of religion, but we'll discuss that later. But according to historians, polytheism is the first stage of religious development. So we take that, not because it is the understanding of Islam, but because it is what you find in history textbooks. Now, we also started discussing about philosophy. Philosophy is a negation of religion. Philosophers came as a reaction to polytheism. They rejected religion. They rejected supernatural powers. They said that man must depend on his rational ability to think and find answers and solutions to his problems, and also answer the fundamental questions of life. So they rejected metaphysics. They opted for rationality. So for instance, I was trying to discuss about predestination. As far as philosophers are concerned, there is nothing like predestination. There is no power that predestines your life for you. There is no destiny. A man shapes his own destiny by his own hands. The philosophers say that you are in control of your life. That is to say, if you are successful, you make yourself successful. If you are not successful, it is you that defeats yourself. So you are in control of your life. You do what you want. You achieve what you work for. You depend on yourself. There is nothing like luck. There is nothing like predestination. This is as a result of natural thinking or rational thinking, as they call it. One other factor where the philosophers differ from religion is in the question of creation. That is to say, there are schools of thought in philosophy which are called the school of realism or the school of existentialism. They say, because I am, I exist. Or because I am real. That is to say, in other words, what the philosophers are saying is that this is my life. I happen to come into the world. Nobody has brought me into the world. I brought myself into the world somehow. And I control and take care of my existence. I exist, and there is no other existence through which I came. So they are rejecting creation. They are rejecting the existence of a creator. They say, because I am, I'm real. And because I am, I exist. So that is to say, philosophy, even though based on rational thinking, is against religion, as in negation of religion. The fundamental basis of philosophy is a rejection of a creator, rejection of a supernatural power, rejection of metaphysics, and dependence on rational thinking. Now, it is by this method that philosophers tried to answer the fundamental questions of life. So we can see that the schools of philosophy are the origin of the schools of atheism. Before the coming of philosophy, we have polytheism, which continued to exist despite the existence or the emergence of philosophers. But philosophers came with a new school of thought, and that is atheism. That is to say, there is no creator. Atheism means a rejection of a creator, a rejection of a supernatural power that controls existence. So it is called the school of atheism. Atheism simply means no God. Polytheism means many gods. So, later on, philosophy graduated to science. Now, science is a method of research and experiment through which the questions of life are being answered. The difference between philosophy and science is that whereas philosophers depend on rational thinking of individuals, science is based on experiments and research. That is to say, science does not depend on just your own thinking, but that your own thinking must be corroborated and supported by facts and figures. So once you cannot produce facts and figures, all you have is a thesis. That is to say, you just have a proposal, but that theory, until it is substantiated by facts and figures, cannot be scientific. So the scientists also based their thinking, or that is to say their actions, on the premise that God does not exist until when it can be proved that he exists. That is, until when you can prove by facts and figures of measurement, of experiment, through the five senses, then you cannot see that there is a supernatural power. They say that whatever we cannot see, or we cannot hear, or we cannot smell, or we cannot feel, we cannot touch, does not exist. Whatever we cannot measure does not exist. This premise is the same as the premise that is used by philosophers. The only difference between the philosophical method and the scientific method is the question of experiments, research, measurements, and that is to say, facts and figures instead of just pure thinking. So the School of Science also supports atheism, that is, non-existence of a supernatural creator until it can be proved that such a power exists. So the philosophers created what they call nature. They say everything exists in a natural state. A natural state is a state of existence where things are just there. Things just come about, and they just exist like that. And they behave the way they behave just like that. That is how they come to be, and nothing else. So they say the origin of all existence is nature. That is, everything comes just naturally. That is, there is no superpower responsible, no supernatural power responsible for the coming into existence of everything, whether living or non-living. By that, everything just comes like that, just comes naturally. If we say everything comes naturally, we mean it comes just like that, without any action or reaction to bring it about, without any power playing a role in bringing it about. But all the same, scientists try to answer the question of the origin of existence, just like the philosophers also try to answer the question of the origin of existence. Like I said, most philosophers answer the origin of existence by just simply saying, I am, so I exist. I am, so I am real. So that is to say, I just come about. But the scientists now try to go a step further, trying to bring to substantiate with facts and figures. So they try to say this is the first object that has come to exist. For instance, some of them say it is the sun. That is the first thing to come into existence. And nobody knows when the sun came into existence. And nobody, that is to say, nobody knows how it comes into existence. So the how and the when are not answered. And they said that somehow everything came into existence out of the sun. Now, that is a disputable theory that remains to be proved. But all the same, many scientists believe in it without any proof. Now, also the scientists came out with an explanation that the first origin of existence is evolution. Because they wanted to reject creation by rejecting the creator, they now say everything comes, the first stage of coming into existence of everything is by evolution. Evolution simply means something comes all by itself. It just comes by itself. Or it breaks away from something already existing. So the evolution is in two parts. It's either original evolution, something coming into existence just like that. That is to say, without any anything that brings it about. And the second stage of evolution is what they call a mutation. They call the second stage of evolution as mutation. That is to say, something is already in existence, but somehow its genes and other parts of its body now change, gradually change, so that after so many years, that thing changes to another thing completely. So that is what they call mutation. That is a second degree of evolution. The first degree of evolution is something coming into existence all by itself. The second degree of evolution is something mutating from an already existing object. Originally it is like this, it was like that, and now it becomes like this. So, but they all call it, it is all evolution. It is only the stages of evolution that differ. This is how the scientists try to prove how existence, whether living or non-living, comes about. And this is all because they base their arguments not by believing in a creator. It is also a rejection of religion. That is to say, there is no creator and there is no supernatural power. That it is only nature. That things have a way of behaving and they came about just like that. So, and then they continued to mutate and graduate into other things, and that is how we come about all aspects of existence. Now, there are fundamental questions which we must ask regarding the process, the scientific process, as they call it. That is to say, the scientific theory is based on the fact that the first objects of existence are not living. The scientists say it is the sun that first of all came to be out of nothing, out of total sheer nothing. The sun came to be. And then there was a big boom, and the sun splitted into so many other objects which became stars, which became all other celestial bodies, planets, and so on. And that was how our planet Earth came about. So, that is to say, the sun came from nothing, and it is not living, and from it, our planet and the other planets, the moon and the other moons, stars and all other celestial bodies came to be. The sun gave birth to all of them. And all these are non-living. They don't have life. Somehow, a good atmosphere was created around our world, our own Earth, our own planet. After all the celestial bodies in the universe, after they were organized, very well organized into galaxies, into systems, and all this very good, perfect, precise organization came about with no power having a hand in it. It just came about like that. So that was how, for instance, our solar system was created. The sun as the center of our solar system, and all the planets going around it in a very precise manner, going around the sun, creating days and nights, and creating climates and weathers, throughout the year. Now, and this, our solar system, is just one system out of several systems in our galaxy. And our galaxy is just one single galaxy out of millions of galaxies that are around in space, in the universe. And all this beautiful organization, perfect and precise, came about without any interference from anybody. it is just natural that all these things organized themselves. And all these things are non-living. They don't have life. So that was how the atmosphere of our planet came about in a very beautiful and precise manner, in such a way that life can exist on our planet. The atmosphere was so perfect. The oxygen is there, the hydrogen is there, all other types of gases and other things are obtainable. And they came about without any interference from any supernatural power. They just came about like that. And because of the presence of all these gases in the quantity, in the needed quantity, the quantity that is needed, water now came into existence on our planet. Not only the presence of water, but what we can call water system. That is to say, the oceans and the rivers, and then you have the sun, the heat of the sun, vaporizing the waters of the oceans, which now goes up into the sky and then condenses into skies, and it comes back to us as a rainfall. And through this rainfall now, waters from the oceans are transported to all other areas that are far away from the oceans, in such a way that every part of our planet is accessible to water. That is, every part of our planet can access water through the water systems, from oceans to rivers, or from rivers to oceans, and then rainfall coming down from the skies, filling the oceans and then going back into the skies and so on. This we can call water system. Now all these things came into existence, according to scientists, naturally. And when they say naturally, they only mean it just comes like that. So they say all these things that just come about like that, without any supernatural power intervening to bring them about, without any, that is to say, living and cognate object, that is, a thinking object that brings them about. And all this while, we are still talking about non-living things. Non-living things coming into existence all by themselves. Non-living things bringing about other living things. Non-living things organizing themselves into beautiful systems. And so on and so forth. This is the scientific premise, which we must never forget. And the fundamental question here is, how can a non-living thing that does not have life, and since it does not have life, it cannot think, it does not have a purpose. So how can it bring itself about? How can it come out of just nothing? How can the sun, for instance, when it was not there at all, not there, how can it think of bringing itself about and then becoming sun? Just like that. This is a fundamental question that science fails to answer. Science has never answered this question for us. They only ask us to take it as a starting point. But in a contradiction to every scientific rule and law, this question has never been answered. How can, for instance, sun bring itself about just like that, out of nothing, without nothing previously, just like that, when it is non-living? And how can all these non-living things, after coming into existence, organize themselves in such beautiful, perfect and precise organizations, such that life becomes possible on our planet? This is a fundamental question that science has never answered, in spite of the fact that science is in total rejection of religion, which believes in the existence of a creator. So this is our lesson for today, and we will build on this next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.